What's up, college football fans and Mean Green fans? Sonoy Valenta here once again with the Mean Green Show. Today, joined by JD, and we're going to jump into the latest recruiting news for the North Texas Mean Green. But before we get into all that, guys, you already know the drill. If you're a fan of college football or G5 football, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because that's truly all that we talk about. All right, JD, well, I appreciate your time and just kind of jumping right into it. So, kind of good news and bad news as it pertains to North Texas fans. The bad news being that we lost our our verbal commit in Dylan Brown Turner, who flipped to Florida State. And I think the writing was on the wall. Anytime you've got a verbal commit that's going on a Power Five last second official visit of the last weekend of the cycle anyway, it's going to be really hard to retain that commitment. And unfortunately, that's the way it played out. But yeah, any thoughts on the Dylan Brown Turner decommitment?
Yeah, I mean, it's anytime you get this close to National Signing Day, there's a chance that Power Five schools are going to sneak in and try to vulture and take some of your commits. I believe the staff and most of the people that follow recruiting like us, that we kind of saw the writing on the wall. We knew that he was taking the visit, and North Texas just only had one linebacker spot, so they were actually able to fill that spot with Matthew Moore. This weekend, got him up on an official visit, the linebacker from Ellison, which I think is, just a talented linebacker. I mean, may have a little bit more upside. He's a little bigger and a little faster, but nothing against Dylan Brown Turner. But I give the staff credit for being ahead of the curve on that one. Sometimes you see schools, get caught with their pants down. National Signing Day, you'll lose one of your commits and you don't have a backup plan. This staff, I think, was ahead of the curve and actually had a replacement in before the decommit took place. So you hate to lose him, but like I said, it's not the end of the world. And he committed with the previous staff, so kind of shocked he stayed committed as long as he did. We've seen a lot of the other guys that were committed to the former staff decommit as soon as the coaching change took place. So best of luck. And that's why I've seen a bunch of people on Twitter, North Texas fans, jumping on there and giving him a hard time. I think we've got to be careful, especially in the transfer portal era, that you wish the kid the best luck. You hope he goes and has a great career at Florida State, but there's also a good percentage chance that he could hit the portal and want to come back home. So I'd say fans be leery of burning the bridges when kids decommit these days.
Yeah, and that's really it has been for the longest time, but probably will be even more prevalent in the NIL and all that stuff of decommit and all that. I think that's just the college football landscape, and they're obviously young kids and they're just trying to do their best to make the best decisions for their own futures. So anyway, but kind of moving on with a little bit more positive news for North Texas fans, and that's the verbal commit that came from Javen Anderson, the safety out of North Shore. And I'm on the 24/7 website right now, and I know there's kind of like a neck and neck stuff people are talking about, but as 24/7 has him ranked our number one recruit of all time. So I mean, we're kind of getting splitting hairs here, with points, 10% of a point or whatever, how they do it. But regardless, I mean, that's a nice little feather in the cap for this staff to essentially bring in the best recruit in the rankings era to North Texas, and to do it in a short period of time. That's promising, and that gives hope to a lot of the fans that maybe have been kind of skeptical of the recruiting strategy, even though, again, the staff really started behind the eight ball. But what are your thoughts on Javen Anderson and his verbal commitment to North Texas?
Yeah, I mean, this staff has what they've been able to accomplish and put together as a staff has been nothing short of amazing. I think that they deserve a lot of credit to to virtually have just two guys committed early signing period, to be able to, and they didn't have many scholarship spots. Some scholarship spots became available by kids hitting the portal, kids retiring from football. So they were able to put together a little bigger class than we originally predicted. But between the transfers they've got and now the way they're closing out the high school portion of the class has been amazing. And I would say Javen Anderson, a position in this new defense, the safeties are probably the most important position on the new defense. Getting a guy like him, I mean, he's a stud. He's a guy that could easily break the two deep out of fall camp. He's got the ratings, he's got the offers, he's got the tape. I mean, there's really nothing to um, you can complain about, really. I mean, just at this point, you just really hope that Wednesday hurries up and gets here, and that the email, gets in, and North Texas gets him locked up, because, like I said, he's a very, very talented player in a position I feel like was in my mind, besides quarterback, was probably one of the biggest positions of need going into this next season.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Nothing's final until the ink is on the paper, and in today's college football world. But okay, so last thing to talk about here before we jump off in this recruiting cycle is the the anticipation of where the South Oak Cliff duo now with Dylan Brown Turner being committed to Florida State. Where is Taylor Starling as well as Keith Smith going to land? Keith Smith, the defensive tackle out of South Oak Cliff, who was one point was verbal to us, and then with the new staff decommitted. When the new staff came in, he decommitted, and then now think he's reconsidering again. And you can elaborate on that here in a second if you know any more about the Keith Smith situation. Then also Taylor Starling, who really seems, you and Harry talked about it, seems like Texas State, UTSA, as well as us, we're all, selling out on the blitz to try to land him. And he's a very highly rated, cornerback out of, again, the powerhouse of South Oak Cliff. And, but anyway, any inkling or insight of where you think these guys are going to land?
I mean, I feel good. I feel confident about it. I feel a lot better than years prior. We haven't had much success last few years against UTSA. Now Texas State, that's a completely different regimen, completely different staff. So it's hard to gauge the success they're going to have moving forward. But as far as these two guys, 24/7, I think's got some crystal balls for North Texas for both of them. But nobody, after National Signing Day, when the dust settles, if they do end up North Texas, UTSA fans, Texas State fans, even North Texas fans, if they don't end up here, nobody can sit there and say, the offer dried up or we had another player. I mean, for Starling, all three schools are battling it out to the end. And for Keith Smith, I think it's still between Texas State and us. I think we're still battling out with them for that. So, it's going to come down to the wire, but with the just hearing rumblings and the crystal ball predictions rolling in, like I said, I feel pretty confident. But just like we said with Anderson, until the ink dries and you get the official announcement from the Mean Green Football Twitter account, I think I won't sit here and say I'm completely sold until it's finally past or crosses the finish line, because I've seen this a ton the past 10 years doing this, that you get super confident about a kid, and then the night before a Power 5 sneaks in, or change of plans or change of heart or something. I mean, until till it's signed, sealed, and delivered, anything can happen. But as of right now, I think North Texas has a good shot of as ever before to land both of them.
Yeah, Starling may have one of the most intriguing recruiting sagas that I can remember, just being this tightly contested with 3 Texas schools. So it'll be fun to watch it pan out. And, I know I speak for a lot of North Texas fans. Hopefully it lands. Hopefully he lands in Denton and, can step in and just kind of see what happens from there. But interesting stuff.
It's going to be a statement. I mean, if North Texas can pull it off, because, I mean, I'm as big a North Texas fan as anybody, but Jeff Traylor and that staff has had North Texas number, not only on the field the last few years, but in recruiting. They've beat us, pretty handily in several different occasions. So I think Coach Morris and his staff, they're able to come in here and land a kid like Starling and beat UTSA out. I think it's going to be really a statement that, it definitely is a new era in Denton.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right, JD, I appreciate your time, and we'll see what happens. As always, go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green.